This is a picture of the title screen. Ironically, it's the exact same thing that you're greeted to when you boot up the game. No music, no credits, no animations. Press start or die, motherfuckers. It's Mega Man. The story for Mega Man is that you are a member of a dying alien race, sent to Earth in a space pod with his sister to protect a war-torn planet from a galactic evil that waits lurking in the shadows of space and time. But first, you must assassinate 6 deadly supervillain terrorists and obtain their powers. Okay, so maybe that's not the story of Mega Man, but quite frankly, if you didn't own a manual, or the infamous box to this game back in the day, you'd have no story other than what you made up in your head. Thankfully, in the scary future of 20XX, we have Wikipedia and Google, and they can answer these questions for you. Although, I think I'll stick to pretending that I'm a badass alien assassin. The story of the Mega Man universe begins with 2 key figures, Thomas Light and Albert Wily. These two would study electronics at university together, but would end up on 2 very different paths. Dr. Light formed a laboratory to use computers and electronic technology to benefit mankind, and Dr. Wily decides to be a dick and construct an endless amount of secret bases and a robot factory in the Pacific to conquer the world. Why? He's probably upset he can't grow a bitchin' beard like Dr. Light. In other words, yeah. So Dr. Light made his first leaps in the field of robotics by creating various robots to benefit the human race, such as Toaster Man, iPhone Man, and whatever this thing was named. But Dr. Light wanted something more human-like. Something with artificial intelligence. So the good doctor produced the first one of such robots. Blues, aka Proto Man. Proto Man was the base design of the Sniper Joe robots, but was instilled with an artificial intelligence unlike anything the world had ever seen. Yet, Proto Man possessed a true sense of independence. When it came to light that Proto Man had a faulty power generator, Proto Man misunderstood his creator's intentions, thinking that repairing him would take away his individuality. Because of this, he ran away from the lab. Still, Dr. Light did not give up. Later, he set to work on building a pair of robots, thinking that 2 would work together and overcome the independence issue. And thus, Rock and Roll were born. Rock became the lab's new assistant, and Roll became a housekeeper. Ooh, that's not gonna sit well with the feminist. With the success of this project, the good doctor went on to create 6 more robots, each for industrial assistance purposes. Bomb Man, Ice Man, Fireman, Elec Man, Guts Man, and Cut Man. Soon, Dr. Wily had finally had enough of living in the shadow of his colleague, Thomas Light. Light's reception of the Nobel Peace Prize drove him over the edge. Wily realized the potential of robots built with true AI. They could be used for other means. So Dr. Wily stole and reprogrammed all of Dr. Light's industrial robots. However, unwisely, he missed Rock and his sister Roll, as the helper robots did not suit his needs. Dr. Light soon discovered that his former colleague was to blame, and Dr. Light knew that the world's police forces and militaries weren't ready to deal with the challenge of Wily's robot army. So Rock, the lab assistant, volunteered to be converted into a fighting robot. Rock had a strong sense of justice and couldn't sit by and watch his father's work be destroyed before his very eyes. On May 25th, Dr. Light reluctantly converted the former lab assistant into a robot of unimaginable potential. Equipped with armor and his trusty buster, Rock became known as the super robot Mega Man and set out for Wily's fortress to stop Wily from taking over the world. The gameplay for Mega Man is defined by its classic action platforming. As Mega Man, you shoot, run, jump, kill enemies, collect items, and try not to die. And seeing how this is a retro game, death is bound to happen unless you've mastered the game. Mega Man controls nicely, but does have a bit of a slidey effect to him while running. Almost like playing an ice level in Mario, but not quite that bad. In other words, the game controls good for its time, unlike Castlevania or Ghosts and Goblins. One of the unique qualities to Mega Man when it was first released in 1987, making it older than me, was the ability to choose which order you wanted to progress in the game. So if you wanted to fight Bomb Man first, you were more than welcome to. And with this freedom of choice came another unique addition to the series: boss battles. Not that boss battles hadn't been done in games before, but every time you defeated a robot master in this game, Mega Man would effectively steal their powers, allowing you, the player, to use them at will. And not only that, but each robot master was weak against another one's powers. Kind of like a game of rock, paper, scissors. And if you found out the weakness for each boss, you could defeat them quicker than 1, 2, 3. And seeing how it's a retro game, there are a few questionable design choices that try to give the game an unfair advantage, such as knockback, spikes, bottomless pits of death, but nothing seems too unfair. In other words, it's all reasonable, to an extent. What the fuck?! Apart from the robot master powers that you acquire in the game, there is also a useful weapon known as the Magnet Beam that you absolutely need to defeat Wily Fortress. You pick it up in Elecman's stage using Gutsman's powers, so keep that in mind. I can't tell you the amount of times this weapon has come in handy, especially during segments with disappearing blocks. I hate disappearing blocks. No, really. It's fucking annoying. Out of all the powers that you obtain in the game, Elecman's weapon is probably my favorite, in my opinion, as it can cause some serious damage and spreads in a direction that your normal buster can't. Another little hint for the game is that before you head into the room containing the robot masters, you'll always go down these little hallways. This is a great area to grind for items and whatever else you might need. So after finishing off the last of the robot masters, you unlock Wily's fortress to track down the madman himself. However, unlike earlier levels, this stage is divided into sections, each with their own boss, or bosses. The first of which is the most notoriously difficult boss of the game, the Yellow Devil. If you want to play a fun drinking game, take a shot every time you die against the Yellow Devil. No, seriously, you're gonna die a shitload. So don't do that. You'll probably end up with fucking alcohol poisoning. However, there is one easy and admittedly cheap way to defeat the Yellow Devil. If you press pause while attacking him, you will glitch the game and the damage will count toward him for each frame. But for this review, I wanted to test my skills against the Yellow Devil. So please allow a moment of silence and watch one of the finest video game moments and achievements of my lifetime. now, Yellow Devil? Huh? Huh? You's a bitch. You's a bitch. I'ma smack you, bitch. I'ma smack you. Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you! Yeah! 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 Other bosses inside of Wily's Fortress include a battle against a doppelganger version of yourself, known as Copy Robot, Dr. Wily's most dangerous invention, a water slide, that he graciously put a bubble machine at the end of for you. I'm pretty sure that this boss ended up being the inspiration for Spark Mandrill's mid-boss in Mega Man X, one of my favorite games ever. Oh yeah, and one more thing. You have to defeat the Robot Masters. Again. After a 4-Robot Master gauntlet, you face the man himself, Dr. Wily. Which ironically I lost the footage for. Damn you, Dr. Wily. So instead you're gonna get this picture. After defeating 2 forms of Dr. Wily, he will bow down to the cyborg god that you are. The design for Mega Man and his enemies are great. The weakest design as far as boss characters go would probably have to be awarded to the rejected Ice Climber design that Iceman ended up with. My favorite character design would have to go to Sniper Joe, who I'm sure Keiji Inafune was so inspired by that he ended up creating the Proto Man character in his likeness. The level design for the game was also very fitting, with each stage having a theme based off of their respective bosses. Although, I have to imagine the architect for some of these buildings was high as hell when they built these places. Seriously, where the fuck does that ladder lead to? And who told Bomb Man that it was a good idea to make his stage look like Death Stars on a stick? As far as sound goes, all the Robot Master stage themes are great. The boss fight music is intense, the victory theme is wonderful, even the stage select is good. The sound effects for the game are good enough for its time. In other words, Mega Man 1 on the NES is one of the most consistently good soundtracks available, 8-bit or not. And on that note, musical pun possibly intended, let's listen to the ending credits. Oh Capcom, how the mighty have fallen. Stay tuned everybody, because I will be reviewing every 8-bit Mega Man game available on the NES, and then I'll be tackling Castlevania 3 and the original 2 Legend of Zelda games as well. So stay tuned, and remember, press start or die. All in all, I give the Mega Man experience on the NES a solid 3 E-Tanks out of 5. Meaning, it's a good game. Go play it.